Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Yani and I come from the Indonesian University of Education. I will present an article, Implication of Using the Case Method to Improve Critical Thinking Skill in Indonesia. Abstract of the paper is Forming Human Resources is the key to a country's progress. Quality human resources have good critical power. People who can think critically can use the information or ideas they have to solve problems. The formation of critical thinking skill can be developed through education. The CAS method is the answer to develop student critical power. The aim of this research is to see the effect of the CAS method on student critical thinking abilities. The, met- the method of using is a literature review by examining related articles. The result of the analysis of several articles show that the CAS method is a learning method that can improve critical thinking skills. It's hoped that applying the CAS method will become a method that can be applied in more active and meaningful learning. Keyword of this paper is 21st century, CAS method, and critical thinking. Outline of the presentation. One is introduction, second method, third result and discussion, and the last is conclusion. The world has entered the 21st century, which is very dynamic. Forces skills are needed: critical thinking, creativity, communication skill, and collaboration skill. Indonesian humans need competitive power and the ability to compete with other nations so that Indonesia can become a developed country. A nation can progress if it has quality human resources. Qualified human resources come from a good form of education. Critical thinking is an intellectual activity that includes judgment and making decisions effectively, independently, and rationally. The ability to think critically does not only depend on the amount of information of state, but someone can use information to make decisions to solve problems can use information to make decisions to solve problems. Indicator of critical thinking according to interpretation, analysis, evaluation, inference, explanation, and self-regulation. To fulfill the critical thinking indicator, a learning method is needed that can improve critical thinking skill and is meaningful to students. CAS method is one of the methods that can improve critical thinking. The CAS method uses CAS as learning. CAS method learning includes analyzing problem, proposing solution, evaluating, and solving problems. The purpose of this research is to see the effect of using the CAS method on student critical thinking. Critical thinking based learning objective can be successful when using meaningful learning. CAS method can give a different impression from other methods because it uses contextualized case to solve so that it's closely related to the problems around students. And the method in this article, the research method used is systematic review. The systematic review step of this research is broken down into 4 phases: the identification phase, the screening phase, the eligibility phase, and the inclusion phase. In the initial stage, research and identify literature review from Google Scholar. The journal were published between 2014 until 2024. The data recorded on Google Scholar search from scientific discipline recap on identified database is 778 articles, and article screen for title and abstract is 27. Article satisfies and answer the problem is 8. And the last article to be reviewed is 6. The result and discussion. The first article, building student critical thinking skill through case-based learning on preparation materials. The result, there was an increase in the test result of students' critical thinking skill after using the CAT method. The increase was 0.78. Second article, case study method innovation using classroom blogging on BMKG. When web on environmental pollution material to improve student critical thinking ability. And the result is case study learning aims to train students to be able to solve problems around them. This method trains critical thinking skill and is a must-have skill in the 20th century. The third article, the effort to increase the critical thinking ability using case study method on social study learning. The result of the research using case study in social study learning were able to improve critical thinking skill. The learning process through recognizing symptoms, analyzing problem, making hypotheses, finding sources of information from existing problems, making solution to problems, and finally making conclusion. There is an increase in student critical thinking skill. The percentage is 42%. Then insightful in action is rise to 67%. Then the percentage increased to 79% in cycle 2. The fourth article, application of case-based learning model to developing student critical thinking skill in geography learning at SMA Negeri 1 Kuta Utara. The result is the use of case-based learning in geography subject of SMA Negeri 1 Kuta Utara in kelas 12 IPS 11 IPS 2 result in a good category with an average score of 79.35. Critical thinking skill also increased compared to the application of conventional methods. And next article, application of case study learning method assessed by module to improve critical thinking skill. And the result of the 30 students who were given the case method action experience and increase in critical thinking skill. In cycle 1, there were 20 students with an average score of 77.46. Then in cycle 2, it rose to 25 students who got an average score of 85. And in cycle 3, increased to 26 students with an average score of 85.22. In addition, student enthusiasm for learning has also increased. And the last article, case method in building student critical thinking in the subject of PPKN. Learning using the case method has a significant effect on critical thinking skill, but there are obstacles, namely minimal interest in participating in learning. And the conclusion in this paper, a review of its article showed the significant effect of the case method on critical thinking skill. Every subject can innovate by including this method in the learning system, so that students can stimulate their reasoning and critical thinking. It's hoped that by learning through case, students will get an idea of solving problems from the analyzed case and can be applied in everyday life. The author would like to thank the Lembaga Pengelolaan Dana Pendidikan LPDP and the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology in Indonesia for supporting this publication. And thank you for your attention. Hopefully this paper can be useful. And once again, I say thank you for the opportunity.